Guys, yes, I'm Aman, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create your very own minimalist style poster. And uh, for your information, this is for my individual assignment for Com 2100 Integrated Marketing Communications. So first of all, you have to ask yourself, what is a minimalist style poster, right? Well, I'm going to show you guys. This is an example of a minimalist style poster. So this is from the TV series Lost. This is from the movie Wolf of Wall Street. This is from, of course, the movie that I think everyone knows, The Empire Strikes Back. And finally, we have Rocky 4. So if you guys don't get the idea yet, minimalist style poster are basically posters that aren't too detailed like how usual movie posters are, but rather they're very simple, but they're very stylish, and usually they will only have one or two subject within it, and whatever subject is in that poster usually ties heavily into that movie of itself. Like here we see that there's two boxes, one to represent the main character and one to represent the antagonist. Then you see in Empire Strikes Back you have a few subjects here, but the main one you can see is the Empire ships chasing after the Millennium Falcon. Then we look back at the Wolf of Wall Street. There's not much here, there's a few colors, and then we see that there's a wolf. But if you didn't realize, if you look at the mouth of the wolf, it's actually stocks rising up to sort of showcase that the movie is about stockbrokers. So I'm going to be doing one today. I've actually done one, but I'm going to be showing you the process of doing it and also the fundamentals of doing one. So let's open up Photoshop here. So as you can see, we start off, you just open a new document, and then you just choose, sorry, it's a bit late, you just choose a format. So primarily for movie format we use A4, but if you want biggest printing size then you use A3. But for me, overall I just use A4 for design because you can easily just redo it for A3. So A4 I'm not going to create because I already have one. So this is my blank canvas, and the movie that I'm going to be doing a poster for is a movie called The Truman Show, a 90s movie from Jim Carrey. And this is the scene that I actually want to put in my poster. This is a very iconic scene from that movie. But the difference is I'm not going to be putting Jim Carrey in it. I'm just going to take the scenery. So this is the blank canvas, and as I've told you earlier, I've actually done one much earlier on. I've done one poster already, which is actually this. So this is my final poster. It's very minimalist. There's not a lot of details. There's the two main subjects is the stairs leading up, the door, the stairs leading up to the door, and also this big Truman Show word. So how do from this I get to this? That's the question. Alright, so I'm just gonna sort of get rid of everything here. Just get rid of everything. Just done. So first of all, the first thing that I want to read. So before you start any movie, any minimalist style poster, right? The important thing that really helps with your poster is choosing the color of the background, because usually you'll start with a white or you'll get a very empty background. So you need to choose a color for the poster. So one advice that I would give if you want to do a minimalist style poster is that your background color, you either do it super bright or you do it slightly dim out. And the reason why is that the next color you're going to be using for a poster is going to be a bright poster. So for me, I've chosen sort of a bluish color. It's not really that bright. I mean, it's pretty bright, but not too bright, if you get what I mean. So I think it's a perfect color, the perfect background color for the poster. And the next thing I want to put is the stairs, right? Now you can easily create the stairs by using the rectangle tool right over here, or you can just press U for it. So you can just like see there's one rectangle over there already. So not really hard. But what I did with this is that if you notice on this side, on the layer side, it's actually different amount of layers. So before I created all of this, I first created only one, which is the platform for the door, and then I created one set of stairs But rather than me just continuing to create them, because that would me just continuing to create them, I just copied and paste. And the reason why I just copied and paste the stair steps is because while it's possible for me to just do it in one shot, there's that danger of one step sort of being too long or too short compared to the others. So rather than taking that risk, I would rather just copy multiple times to make it so that everything would be in a perfect condition. So we have that over here. Then after that, I mean, the stairs look pretty good on their own, right? But I feel like we can add more detail to it. So what I want to do is I want to add shadow to it. And look, it already looks better, right? Now, not to confuse, I'm not using the background shadow tool. And for those of you who don't know what it is you double click on the layer, and then if you go to the bottom, which is the drop shadow, so you can see it adds a drop shadow. And while with some effects and whatnot, it can look very, very good, but one thing that I personally dislike is the fact that you can't really control the angle of it. And not only that, but if you notice very, very closely, I'm just gonna portray here, the shadow is not focused on all bottom, which doesn't make sense, right? For something like a stairs, shadow should only be at the bottom of the stairs. It shouldn't be above the stairs itself. So I would rather not use this type of effect. So I'm just gonna cancel that effect. So what I always do for shadow is, rather than you using that background shadow, you copy that layer, which you can just do by pressing Ctrl J. You bring that layer down bottom of the original layer, and using the move tool with a V, and then you Ctrl T, you can move the second layer just a little bit down, so it doesn't really look much difference, right? But then you take the brush tool, then you give it a little bit of color, and there you have it. Looks much better, right, than the previous one. But for shadows, it still looks a little bit too sharp. So what I like to do is I like to decrease the opacity so it looks more realistic. And I open the filters tab, I open blur, and pick specifically Gaussian blur. Now usually I like to pick around 5, 6, but usually my limit would be 10 or 9. So I'm going to be choosing with 9 today. And it looks pretty good, but let's add a little bit more opacity, and there you have it, a nice shadow that doesn't go above. Like you see, it doesn't really go above, and if it does, well, you can just simply sort of change it just like that, and you have one nice shadow just over there. Simple as that, right? Now after that, you gotta add the doors, and the doors pretty easy. You just take a rectangle tool, sort of like that, and you put it over here. Now of course we want to make it small, we don't want to make it too large, right? Let me just do a little bit of fixing here and there, and done. See, you got just one simple door. You don't need to put much info, because again, this is a minimalist style, so it's okay if you don't really put much detail into it. What matters is how by using minimalism, you're catching people's attention. So we added the doors. Now if you look back at the scene, you can see that there's actually some very, very light clouds here, very, very light. So how do I create that? Now I actually created 2 clouds. So one cloud is a very realistic style, and while it does look good, but it doesn't really keep with that minimalist style, if you understand what I mean. So rather than using that, I would use my own custom-made cloud, which I created using the shape tool. You can easily create it, or if you have difficulties creating clouds like this on your own, you don't know how, you can easily search online for cloud brush tool. And basically what it does, rather than you need to create the clouds, you simply just open up your brush tool and you choose that specific brush that looks like a cloud. That's actually what I did with this one. This is actually all brush tool, and it looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good actually, not bad at all. But again, like I said, I'm using minimalist style, so I'd rather go with clouds like this. So we've done all of our illustration. Now we need the title of the movie, and it's simple enough. You just write the title. See, The Truman Show. Now if you see, I actually highlighted the word Truman with the color yellow, and the reason why I did that is because, well, how do I say this? Highlighting the specific title in a movie, it really helps to getting the attention of people. And you know, bright colors are really the best with this, so that's why I'm using bright color for that specific word. You know, and not only that, but the darker the background color, right? The darker the background color, the more that yellow color pops up. So let's say I'm doing something like this. See, you can see the yellow color is popping up more and more, and right now it's just completely popping up. But the reason why I'm not using that, so you see it's really popping up. But back to it, the reason why I'm not using this style of colors, even though it would help me by, you know, enhancing the Truman word, the reason I'm using this color is because in this scene you can see it's not really the best quality, but in the original scene it's actually very, very bright. It's bright blue. So unfortunately I needed to do bright blue, but you know, you can easily do changes like this if you want. You don't need to follow my style. It is just what I'm doing. So after that we add the Truman Show, and then, you know, as usual I would add the name of the actor, like who's the main actor, what he's acting as. And for this one we add Jim Carrey as Truman, and again I highlighted the word Truman with color yellow. And overall it looks good, right? It looks good. Looks like it doesn't have much issue. But there is one trick that a lot of people don't really do much, and it can really help with your words, which is to add a shadow to it. Similar to how we did the shadow for the stars, we're gonna do one shadow for the Truman Show, bam, and then we're gonna do another one for Jim Carrey as Truman. Done. And as you can see, it really, really highlights the overall looks of it. It looks much, much better than before. Let's put it down and done. So let's take a look. Looks pretty good to me. We got the stars, we got the background color, we got the clouds, and we even got the black dog. You can see it's completely black actually. And as the final touch, we put in the title and we put in Jim Carrey as Truman. So overall, that's how you do a minimalist style poster. This is how I did mine for the Truman Show. I've done a couple more. I can show it to you guys if you want. Put down a link for it. And it's really easy. It's really easy to get into. It's really easy to do. All you need to watch out for is how you use the coloring, how you use the wording, and how creative are you with creating illustration. That's all really. If you can get all these three, then you're set, you know. Oh, and also you gotta have Photoshop, of course. Duh. So that's all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Adios.